Hey guys, welcome back to our channel Glitched Velocity. I'm your host Wazahat, and today in this video I'm going to showcase a project that I've been working on for quite a few days. This project is to test how capable CopperCube is to produce triple equality products, and it comes out as expected. So I have recreated some game elements from a triple A fighting title called Tekken 7 in CopperCube game engine. The character selection screen is the main showcase of this video, but I have also created a menu selection screen and a 3D stage without any HUDs and all that stuff. The setup is pretty basic and there has been a lot of JavaScript stuff in there. I've created this custom behavior for character selection and custom behavior for menu item selection screen. And I also did the transition effects inside the behavior. The 3D stage scene uses a huge shader action that does the wind, lighting, and animate the texture of the objects. I also had modified a behavior that allows me to use image sequences as background videos for my scene. As you might have already seen these folders on my desktop, they holds the image frames that will be animated as the background for my scene, but there is a major drawback of using external textures, and I will tell you why in a moment. So that's enough talk about the project and how I set it up, and now it's the time to see them in action. As you can already see, I have these bunch of exes on my desktop here. They all are actually individual scenes, and why I have set them up individually, this has something to do with the external texture usage. We will come to that later. Let me start with stage scene first. I have prepared two versions of the stage scene here. One uses a darker ambient light and one uses a brighter ambient light. So let's start with the brighter one. Let me just open it. It will take some time to load up. We have to wait. And here it is loaded. I think it looks pretty good. All the objects are using custom light shaders and are normal mapped except few animated objects here. Let's just take a look around at the scene. So we have this animated waterfall here, and it is animated with the help of shader. Then we have wind movement for the vegetation. As you can see, all the plants and trees are having some sort of wind movement, and it is being done by with the help of a vertex shader. And then we have this monkey and this bird here, and they all are using normal maps and specular maps. Generally, CopperCube doesn't support normal maps and specular maps for the animated meshes, and it only supports normal mapping for the static objects. But with the help of shader actions, we can do normal maps for animated objects as well. And we have the bunch of different waterfalls here, and all the plants and vegetations are using wind shaders, and every single material is using individual shader action for the wind shader. You can also notice that the water is also using animate texture coordinates shader, and it is animated with the help of shader. And you can notice the specular highlights on the floor here. Let me just get close here, and you can see the normal mapping, the bumps in this floor here. I don't know why, but the video quality is decreasing, or it looks blurry or pixelated when I move fast in the video. So, but in reality, it is looking really crisp and clear. I don't know why it is recording the video with pixelated quality or whatever it is. And I don't know if you notice it or not, but the fog in this scene is looking a bit different than the default fog of the editor. And let me just show you why. So let me just switch my application to the CopperCube game engine. And as you can already notice, there is fog enabled for the scene, and the fog color is orange and fog density is 7E-05. But it is not these settings that is doing the miracles. It is actually this fog box here, which is provided by Dieter, aka CSP Games, a fellow CopperCube user, and I'm very thankful to him that he provided this fog box to the community. And if I disable this fog box by hiding it, then you will notice that the scene is now rendered without any fog effect. And when I make it visible again by clicking the visible option here, and if I go to the materials tab, then you will notice that it is using transparent additive material. That's why the fog is rendering with the fog box here, but not rendering on other objects, because it is so low that it will not be able to render on static solid materials or transparent materials. It will only render on transparent additive materials. So that's pretty much about it. Let me just close the editor. And now we will move on to our stage darker exe, which is same stage with a darker ambient lighting. Let me just open it, and it will take some time to load up. And here we are with the same scene. It is somewhat darker in the contrast than the previous scene due to the ambient lighting. As you might have already noticed, the 2D overlay in the top left of the scene here, it shows the FPS counter of the scene. Right now, it is 24 or 23 frames per second, but if I press F, then you will notice that there is a huge frame drops here. Now the frame rate is 18 or 19 frames per second. And that's because I have made these two animated objects visible in the scene. If I made them disable by pressing F, then the frame rate will increase again. And that's because the scene is not yet optimized, and those animated meshes are using high resolution, diffuse, normal, and specular textures. So 3 layers of high resolution textures, and each animated mesh contains about 20 plus material. So that's a decent amount of textures. But with some optimizations, I think we can overcome the frame rate here. Now let's just move on to our other scene, which is our character selection screen, and it is the main showcase of the video here. So let me just close this and open our character selection screen. Again, it will take some time to load up. Now, first let me talk about the issue that I have told you earlier about the uses of using external textures, and you will be able to see the issue here in the scene. The background video in this scene, all this shattering of glass and all, is image sequences that have been loaded through external textures into the scene, and it affects the game drastically. When loading the textures dynamically, it slows down the game or sometimes completely freeze it when loading textures externally. So I don't recommend using the CCB load texture command when you are animating image sequences to load external textures into the memory. If you have to use the command, then I will suggest you to load all the textures initially into the memory, and once they are loaded, then only use them to animate the scene or do other stuff. The game will work normally without any lag or frame drops once all the textures get loaded into the memory. Now let's just try selecting the character with arrow keys. Inside the custom behavior, I have assigned arrow keys to control the character selection screen. You can see the red gradient over the currently highlighted character, and when you change the character with arrow keys, then you can notice the transition for the character name here, and you will also notice that these panels does have some position alignment that gives the depth of 3D selection to these panels. So if I select this Nina or Master Raven, then you will notice that they will be aligned slightly to the left of the screen to give the 3D depth effect. So we can select all these characters with the arrow keys up and down, left and right, and then we have this random character selection panel here, which will animate the image banner and image name or name image of the characters according to the random selection. But you might be wondering why you are not able to see the issue that I was talking about, the external textures in this scene. That's because I have wasted the time explaining you how the issue happens or how to solve the issue. So we have to load this scene again in order to see the issue here. Let me just close it and load it again. Sorry, it will take some time to load up. And if I press the key, then you will notice there is small delay when selecting the character. And you will notice when I hold down the key. So now the textures are completely loaded and the sound is like this. So if you are using multiple scenes, then you will notice this issue more drastically, and I'm going to show you it in a moment. So let me just show you the details how this character selection screen works. So I have set it up in a behavior that allows us to use keys, arrow keys, to select the character based on cases and switch. So there are switch and cases in my JavaScript behavior that allows me to select every single character, and I have scripted something that makes them animated or gives the transition effects to all of them. So you can see I can select Kunimitsu, and if I press the left key again, then it will automatically go to the Lydia on the right side. So if I press right, then it will go to Kunimitsu. Same happens when I press up and down key. So if I press up, then it will move to the bottom, which is Brian. And if I press down, then it will move to the up, which is Kunimitsu. So we have Kunimitsu, Ganryu, Zafina and all. And if I select the character, then there will be special effects to the image banner and character name image, and the sound of the currently selected character will be played. So let me just select this Eddie Gordo, for example.
Eddie Gordo.
So
Eddie
you
Gordo.
can see
Eddie Gordo.
there is a effect which happens on the image banner and the name banner of this character. So if I press
Eddie Gordo,
then we have
Panda.
Panda, and then we have
Jack 7, Ling Xiaoyu, Lars Alexanderson, Lily, Lucky Chloe, Kazumi Mishima, Heihachi Mishima.
So we have these effects, and let me just show you the original game screen and how closely this screen mimics the original game. So let me just close it and open the original game. It will take some time to load up, so we have to wait. And let me just skip the cutscenes here. Oh. Wait, it is not working. I don't know why. It's not skipping at all. I'm pressing the keys, but it's not working. So I think I have to close it. Alright, it worked. I have to click on it, make it work. I don't know why it was happening. So this is the main menu, how it looks. Just go to the, sorry, I have to go to the offline mode to show you the character screen. And let me just select the arcade battle. And it will load up.
Welcome to the King of Iron Fist Tournament 7.
So there is some difference in the original screen and the one that I have created in CopperCube. But I think it looks somewhat similar, and all these effects can be possible or can be added in the game that I have, or the scene that I have created in CopperCube, like the glow effect on the red gradient, and there is some color grading for all the panels here. Wait, it just minimized automatically. So there is some color grading on the panel here, and there is color grading on the image logo back here. And when we select, then you can see the edge effect. There is also color grading on the edge effect. So we can also do that easily in CopperCube. But yeah, it was time consuming for me to do all those stuff. That's why I didn't do that. So when I change the character, then you can notice that there is a red gradient to the character name as well. So if I move Zafina to Julia, then you will notice that Julia has some red gradient when I moved it, or red gradient transition. So we can do that easily in CopperCube as well. And we have this random character, and you will notice that there is some transparency in the image banner when random character is selected, or random panel is selected. And then if I select the character, then it will do the same thing that we had in the character screen of our CopperCube game. You can see the scene that we have created in CopperCube, but we don't have any color grading. We can easily tint it to red or blue or something like that as per our like. So yeah, that's pretty much it about the character selection screen. And now let's just move to the main menu part. So let me just open the main menu, and it will take some time to load. So here we have the main menu, and if I move it like this, then you will be able to see a delay when I moved it for the first time. And you will notice that the submenus are dull or not bright or like that. And I am using dynamic lighting on them. That's why they appear dull, and I'm using point lights, which moves further and closer when the menu is selected. So if I select offline by pressing enter, then you will notice that the arcade battle, treasure battle, versus battle, and practice is now brighter than they are previously when they are not selected. Same goes with the options submenu, and we can select it as well. And if I now select the offline mode and then arcade mode, and if I press enter, then you will notice that there is some delay in the scene here, and it works pretty good. So that's all about the man menu screen and the character selection screen. And now comes the best part, which will showcase the issue of the external textures and how it loads. It can be used to load a video or to mimic a video effect in CopperCube game engine. So let me just open the final exe, which is all in one, and we have to wait for it to load. And once it is loaded, it will show the loading icon, that is the blue logo here on the bottom right corner. And once the textures are loaded into the memory, then it will automatically play the video, and then it will automatically, once the video is completed, then it will automatically switch the scene to the main menu. So the video is now playing. Wow, that's brilliant. And now you can see there is delay, is lag. So when using multiple scenes and you are working with external textures, then you can notice that there is some delay or lag with the external textures loading. So if I go to offline and arcade battle, then it will take some more time to load the character selection screen. But it is not. It will surely go to the character screen. And you can notice the lag behind the background video. And look, it is now completely lagging. And that's because of use of external textures in the background video or the back. Video playback. Sorry, the video playback is perfect. There was no lag. The audio synchronization is perfect. The audio was completely synchronized with the video or the footage, while there was no actual video footage. It was loading this Bandai logo image sequence here, which has around 392 frames, and they all are loaded into the memory when that blue icon or the loading icon appeared in the bottom right corner. It was actually loading all these textures into the memory, and once they are loaded into the memory, then there will be no lag, there will be no delay for the animation. That's why the video animation worked perfectly along with the synchronization of the audio. But all these other scenes like the character selection screen and main menu are not using the loading icon or the loading screen to load all the textures initially into the memory. That's why when we are using larger scene or we are using multiple scenes, they will face some lag or some delay and make the game unplayable. So always use internal textures. Yeah, it might increase the size of the EXEs or the published game, but it is better to use internal textures than relying on external textures. I would have used CopperCube video behavior or video action, but it seems like it is broken in the new version. You can't use video playback in the latest version of CopperCube, while it works completely fine in the previous version, like CopperCube 5.4, 5. So that's it. That's the conclusion of all the projects or all the scenes. So that's how I have created the scene, and that's how it works. I have these large shader here, which I have created. It does the lighting, it does the normal mapping, specular mapping, wind, or animation for the texture coordinates. Then we have behavior menu selection. So it is the menu selection behavior which does the selection for the menu part, main menu part. Then we have character selection script. It does the character selection. It holds all the name of the characters and position of the characters. So it's a huge behavior and a huge shader action. So that's all for today's video. I hope you liked the video, and all the objects or all the assets used in this video are extracted from the original game, and I don't encourage you to extract those copyrighted materials from the game and use them in your projects and sell them commercially or use them commercially. And I'm running out of storage now. That's because I am using or recording the video, and it takes me a lot of time to record the videos, as English is not my native language, and I don't know how many times I have said that thing in my videos. So for the very first time, I have written scripts or written what I have to say in the video in a notes, make notes in the notepad, and I was reading or doing stuff while recording the video, but it was not working because I have to focus on the screen and then I have to look at the notes. So it was not working, but still I made it to the last, and hope you like the video. If you like the video, then don't forget to subscribe the channel and hit the like button and the notification bell icon, and let me know what you think. Is CopperCube is capable of producing triple quality stuff or not in the comments down below, and let me know if you want to know how to extract or rip characters or 3D assets, sounds, videos, and other things from original game that has been already published by bigger publishers like Unreal, Ubisoft or Valve, etc. So that's it. Have a good day. Peace out. Bye bye. Take care.